Grand rising to all of my kings and queens doing tremendous things. I am Altitude, representing building that reminds the hip hop workshop, and I'm renovating minds one rhyme at a time. And in this episode of Soundcheck, I want to talk about how we can take back everything that the devil has stole from us. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell to be updated on the latest and greatest content. And without any further ado, let's get right into it after the intro. I wanted to sit back and have an intimate moment with you guys to just get some of the feelings out that I've been having, get some of my thoughts out that have been in my mind, that have been just ruminating in my head, right? I wanted to just sit back, have a drink, got a little seltzer water here, got the incense going, diffuser in the background, you know what I mean? Plants are thriving, and just sit back and have a conversation with you guys and have a deep spirituality check. This is basically a wellness check on this beautiful day that God has made, right? On this channel, we get into the music, the culture, the lifestyle, but all of it still culminates back to what's in here, what's up here, what's in the mind, the body, the soul. How is your spirituality at the end of the day? How are you doing from a spiritual perspective? I want to look at the macro perspective of how you're doing. And then we can boil it down to the minute, to the micro. But I just wanted to cut this camera on and just talk, to just go off the cuff and just relate to you guys. A lot of the reasons of why we lose sense of who we are as people, as men and women, a lot of the reasons why we can't seem to find ourselves, lose sense of our identity, is because we are putting things before our Creator, putting things before our God, whether it's our relationships, whether it's money, whether it's our jobs, our cars, our houses, anything in the world that takes precedence and takes rule over God. We're taking all of that out of the equation. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the Holy Spirit, and it affects every single thing that I do. And I know a lot of people don't believe the same way as I do. I have Muslim friends. I have Hindu friends. I have people from all over the world, all different sectors that believe in different things. But we can still get along on a humane level and on a personal level because of the heart, of the mind, the body, the soul at the end of the day. How are you as a person? How do you treat others? So in a sense, we can still connect even though we don't believe in the same God necessarily. I believe in my God, they believe in theirs. But boiling it back down to the human aspect, we can still understand and relate to each other. So, minus anything that you believe in, from a spiritual perspective, why do you feel like you're struggling? And these are the things that I wanted to get into, is the why. Why are we struggling with our spirituality? Is it because of all of the things I just laid out? Is it because of the things we're putting before our God? What is it that's blocking you from the path of righteousness? What is it that's blocking you from living a lifestyle of freedom, of bliss, of being able to breathe? Let's have an intimate conversation. I know a lot of people all over the world, all over the country, are literally sick and tired of being sick and tired. But are they doing anything to take the necessary steps to change their situation? In the last video, I just talked about faith without works is dead. Well, why is that? You can believe all day. You can say you believe until you're blue in the face, but if you never take the necessary steps and actions to get to where it is that you're trying to get to, you will always remain in the same place, stagnant, stuck, motionless, and looking around at everyone else and saying, why are they thriving and succeeding while I'm sitting here suffering? God has given us free will and dominion to do whatever it is that we need to do on a daily basis to get things done. Faith without works is dead. And a lot of people spiritually are suffering and they are stagnant because they don't know how to get themselves out of the hole that they're in. I'll give you a couple of examples. I was talking to a homeboy of mine. He was saying he didn't have any money. And the first thing I said is, show me your bank account. And he was like, what does that have to do with anything? I said, show me your bank account and I will show you where your priorities lie. It's not that you don't have any money. You simply have a spending problem. You make good money for the city that you're in. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep, save, and invest. And if you are not managing your money correctly and budgeting for the things that you want and need, no matter how much money you make, you will always find yourself behind the 8 ball because you don't know how to be a good steward of your finances. It's not about what you have. It's not about what you receive. It's what you retain. When it comes to transportation, are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to ride the bus or the train while you save up money for a cash car? Or are you going to put yourself behind the 8 ball by going into debt with a dealership that's going to charge you well over MSRP rate and charge you a high interest rate on a car that you cannot afford? You can't afford that car. What you can afford is the monthly payments that they're going to stick you with for the next 5 to 7 years. Choices. Nobody forced you to do anything. Nobody forced you to walk into that dealership and sign on the dotted line. Nobody forced you to walk into that realtor company and sign for a house you knew was well out of your budget. Nobody forced you to take a job that you didn't want to take. Nobody forced you to do anything. It was all choices. And what we have to do as people is start changing our rhetoric, changing our verbiage, changing the way we speak, seasoning our speech in order to realize that no one is forcing me to do anything. I cannot blame any man or woman for the choices I made. It's called self-control, self-esteem, self-acknowledgement. All of these things were given to us by God to be able to manage. My self-esteem is not based on how you feel about me. Now, we know from a societal perspective it is, but it's not supposed to be. It's not about how we feel about certain situations. It's about what's going on in here, what's going on internally. How can you better your situation? And it all starts from a spiritual perspective. It all starts in here. What is God doing in here? Are you losing sight of what it is that you're supposed to be doing? Have you gotten too comfortable in your faith to where you feel you're good no matter what? Sometimes we can get to a point in life where we're too comfortable. And sometimes comfort can be the enemy of our future as well. What we don't want to be is too lackadaisical, too relaxed to the point of where we throw our efforts to the wayside because we think we're good already. You can always put yourself in a better situation than you were yesterday because there's no limit on how far and how high you can grow. I'm looking at this from a perspective of a lot of people are crying out to God. A lot of people are complaining about how the world is being run, what is going on in our world currently. When in all actuality, if you take care of your own domain and household, everything else will work itself out. Because it doesn't even matter if the country is financially strapped. Is your household individually good? Are you good? Is your spouse good? Is your marriage okay? How's your mom doing? How's your dad doing? Your brothers, your sisters? What's going on internally? Because everything outside of your four walls, it's out of your control. But what's going on within? When the world is burning down around me, I'm too busy watering my plants to care about what's going on with the presidential election. That'll work itself out regardless of what I believe politically or not. But you know what I'm going to make sure I take care of? You know why I'm not stressed out at the end of the day? Because I make sure that this is under control. No consumer debt, no bad spending habits, and making sure that my mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional well-being is intact. I don't have time to worry about what's going on outside of my four walls, because on the inside of my doors, I have to make sure that my spirit is okay. And a lot of times we lose track of that. We lose sight of that because we can get so wrapped up and consumed in our jobs. We can get so wrapped up and consumed in what we're driving, consumed in working to make sure that we pay off something that we can't even afford in the first place, to make sure that we look good for people who don't even care about us or even know that we exist. There's 8.4 billion people on the planet, probably more by now. That's just the last statistic that I read. But does any of that matter in the grand scheme of things? I pray that at the end of the day, individually, you are taking care of your household to make sure that you don't end up on the street, to make sure that there's food on your table and clothes on your back and a roof over your head. I pray for stability. I pray for peace. I pray for comfort. I pray for everything to be okay. We're taking back what the devil has stole from us. We are aligning ourselves back into the presence of God. We are realigning ourselves back into our spirituality. We are focusing on nothing but what is positive, on nothing negative, and we are making sure that we are realigned in every sense of the word. Spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, we want to make sure that we are covered on all bases because we do not have time to remain stagnant. All we have to do is relax. Do what it is that God is telling us to do as He's telling us to do it. No delayed reactions, and everything will work itself out. But we have to believe that, and then we have to put the works behind the faith to make sure that our actions align with what it is that we're hoping for. We see devastation all around us. We see tragedy all around. I can walk right outside of my door right now and go down about a block and see a tent city. Homeless people lined up as far as the eyes can see. And we're supposed to be in a relatively decent neighborhood, right? This is a nice apartment. I'm right next to downtown. And it doesn't matter. It's everywhere. Just came back from Oklahoma a couple days ago. Doesn't matter. Homeless people everywhere. Because no place and no person is immune to it. That's why we have to take accountability for our actions, be fiscally and emotionally and spiritually responsible, and do what it is that we have to do to ensure that we do not make the same mistakes that we've seen others make. A smart person can learn from their own mistakes, but a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. The only thing I can wonder is, are you going about everyday life lackadaisical and living in the moment and not preparing for the future? Or are you heeding all of the signs and indications around you? When we go out and we feed the homeless And we're handing out toiletries and clothes and all kinds of pamphlets and information to try and help people and assist people in with their faith walk and get them off of the streets and advocate to homeless shelters to help people by extending their stay or whatever the case may be. We know it's not enough, but it's what we can do. But also, it's a warning to never end up in this situation. We have warning signs all around us. But are we going to heed the information? Are we going to take heed to what's around? That's part of the spirituality too. That's part of being able to have discernment and look around you and read the room and have enough wherewithal to say, you know what? Maybe I need to chill. Nah, I'm not going to drink tonight. Nah, I don't need to eat out tonight. You know, I'm not saying you can't ever indulge in those things. But just because it's permissible to you doesn't mean that you have to indulge either. What did I say at the beginning of the video? Self-control, self-esteem, self-acknowledgement. We're all about our core being. Working on our spirituality so that we can elevate and grow and ascend into the people that God wants us to be. Is it possible? Absolutely. Can it be done? Absolutely. Will it be accomplished? That answer is up to you. That's just a little rant TED talk that I went on, but I wanted to make sure that I had an intimate conversation with you guys to just talk about what's going on in here. Because to me, out of everything that we do, outside of our talents, outside of our communities, outside of our work environments, whatever it is that we have going on, what's going on in here, in the spirit, is more important than anything else that we could ever imagine. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be updated on the latest and greatest content. And without any further ado, I will see you guys when I see you guys in the next installment of Soundcheck. Peace and one love.